Sit back and enjoy 2 hours of fascinating facts you didn't know. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Let's get started.
In South Korea, trees have a better healthcare system than people in some countries. Watch how they administer saline solution to this tree in preparation for winter. This is the pedestrian catcher, a device invented in the 1930s to reduce traffic accidents. As you can see, it worked by deploying a canvas in front of the vehicle that lifted the pedestrian off the ground. The device was activated with a lever located near the steering wheel and could be reset after each use. However, the invention did not succeed because it did not always work. Factors such as the car's speed, the pedestrian's height, and weight caused it to fail. These were slimming gym salons for women in the 1940s. They featured machines made up of different rollers that supposedly helped reduce body fat. In the world, there exists a small and unique animal that lives in underwater volcanic regions, the volcanic snail. Unlike others, it has a shell made of iron. It is practically the Iron Man of the animal kingdom. It does not need to eat as it transforms elements from its environment, such as hydrogen, carbon dioxide, and ammonia into energy using a process called chemosynthesis. Blonde hair in humans first appeared only 11,000 years ago. It was an evolutionary response to the lack of sunlight in Northern Europe. This color allowed for better vitamin D synthesis. The magnetic mountain of Mount Kayaktiyo in Myanmar is a sacred site famous for the Golden Rock, a large rock covered with gold leaf that appears to defy gravity by balancing on the edge of a cliff. According to legend, the rock stays in place thanks to a hair of Buddha embedded in it. A study conducted in 2018 discovered that wearing a tie can reduce blood flow to the brain by up to 7.5%, which can make you feel dizzy, nauseous, and cause headaches. They can also increase pressure in the eyes if worn too tightly, and they are excellent carriers of germs. Let me introduce you to Myrmecocystis mimicus, also known as the honey ant. You can probably guess it. The large pouch on its body is filled with honey. It lives in dry and warm regions of Mexico. It can store in its abdomen a quantity of water and sugar that enlarges its belly until it reaches the size of a grape, and it is practically transparent, which is why we can see its interior. An entire colony can feed on the reserve of some of its members when no other nutrients are available. In 2012, Leo Bassi created the Catholic Church in Madrid, dedicated to the worship of a yellow rubber duck, where he regularly performs masses and events such as weddings and baptisms with his own liturgy. Leo considers the rubber duck a happy and innocent loser who does not receive the appreciation it deserves, and that is where his devotion to things of little importance comes from. He also proclaims himself the Bishop of the Vatican and proposes a single commandment: have a sense of humor. These are the bridal veil mushrooms. They are characterized by the remarkable net-like veil that hangs from the cap, where a brown and foul-smelling substance forms that can be detected from a distance to attract flies, which disperse their spores. They appear in soils rich in organic matter, alone or in small groups, and are quite a spectacle. The characteristic shape of Pringles chips has a mathematical secret. To stack potato chips in a cylindrical can, chemist Frederick John Bohr was asked to find the solution in 1970. They did not make them simply flat because they would break inside. So he had a great idea, a hyperbolic paraboloid, which is widely used in architecture due to its high resistance to fractures. He was so proud of his invention that his remains rest in a Pringles container. The Xoloitzcuintle is a hairless dog native to Mexico. There is also a variety with hair, and dogs born with hair are still pure Xoloitzcuintles. A litter can have puppies of both varieties. In Mexican culture, it was believed that Xolos accompanied the souls of the deceased when they traveled to the underworld, which is why they were buried along with the dead they were meant to guide. Do you know why we love the smell of books? This is related to bibliosmia, which is the term that defines the pleasure produced by the smell of books, especially old or used ones. Their smell is due to the chemical decomposition of the cellulose and lignin found in paper. This process is called acid hydrolysis and produces a wide variety of volatile organic compounds that contribute to the smell. The smell of new books comes from the paper, inks, and binding adhesives. The different chemicals used in each book mean that not all books smell the same. In the interior of the Philippines, in a mountainous area, is the municipality of Sagada, known for its hanging coffins on cliffs. You may wonder why the dead are buried this way. The tradition says that the higher the deceased are placed, the easier it will be for them to reach heaven, but it also has to do with protecting them from scavenging animals, floods, and landslides. This is the fungus Xylaria polymorpha, and its appearance is similar to zombie fingers emerging from the ground. It feeds on decaying wood and spreads across the soil. This species is found in forested areas of the Americas and has a slow growth. It only reaches 1 inch in diameter and rises 4 inches above the ground. During World War I, many soldiers had the habit of creating crafts, decorations, and small artworks. This is known as trench art. They were created using shell casings, ammunition cases, old papers, and other materials from the battlefield. It was a way to entertain themselves or make a living during and after the war. Many of these works have survived the passage of time. Meet Tessa Hansen-Smith, the girl who bathes twice a month. This is because she was diagnosed with aquagenic urticaria, a rare condition that causes rashes and skin irritation on any part of her body that comes into contact with water. In addition to the wounds it causes on her skin, she also suffers from other symptoms such as fever or migraines. Drinking water can cause cuts on her tongue, and she says she is allergic to her own tears, sweat, and saliva. A person can literally die laughing. Several people have, usually due to intense laughter that caused a heart attack or suffocation. Comedy shows should probably come with a warning. The oldest dog in the world lived to 29.5 years. Although the average lifespan of a dog usually ranges from 10 to 15 years, an Australian cow dog named Bluey lived to the remarkable age of 29.5 years, almost twice the average lifespan of its breed, and in fact died because euthanasia was performed. Oppo seeds are toxic. The reason they are toxic is that they contain cyanide, a powerful poison. However, there is nothing to worry about because the dose in each seed is very low. Also, for it to have any effect, you must chew and break the seed, which is difficult because its outer layer is very hard. But if you wonder how many seeds would be required for a lethal dose, the answer is 50. Have you ever wondered what the spiciest food in the world is? It is the Carolina Reaper pepper, a cross between a habanero and a Naga-Jolokia. It ranks first in spiciness, as it is equivalent to eating 187 jalapenos. As you can imagine, it is not for every palate. Meet Kim Peek, the incredible man who was able to memorize absolutely everything, as he was diagnosed with macrocephaly, a brain condition that prevented the connection between both hemispheres, which did not allow information exchange between cells. Thanks to this, he could retain up to 98% of all the information he saw, heard, and read. He was even able to memorize entire books and read 2 pages at the same time, one with each eye. He died at 58 years old from a heart attack. These are the blood falls in Antarctica. Their name comes from their peculiar red color. From afar, they look very eerie. Their color is due to the flow of iron oxide over the ice or even within it. This sheep escaped from a farm and lived for 6 long years in the mountains, during which almost 66 pounds of wool grew on her. Wolves and other animals tried to eat her, but their teeth could not penetrate her fluffiness. She returned years later, safe and sound. Observe the design of the Canadian passport when a white light is projected onto it. There is nothing special, but under ultraviolet light, we can see colorful drawings glowing on it. These are Canadian symbols such as maple leaves and Niagara Falls. What is most impressive is that this design is not just artistic. Besides the aesthetic contribution, it helps protect the document from counterfeiters. Golden plover chicks have a peculiar plumage that allows them to camouflage with their surroundings. This is a natural adaptation because this species nests on the ground. If their coloring were simply white, it would attract predators' attention, and they would not survive for long. That is why they develop these curious patterns on their feathers. In Japan, there is a service known as debukari that allows you to rent overweight people for $14 an hour. If someone wants to be part of the company, the minimum requirement is to weigh approximately 220 pounds, an important feat in Japan as it takes a lot of skill to achieve it. Whoever hires the service will have a person for support to complete a food challenge, to listen to problems, to dress up, to get married, to accompany someone to events, to help choose gifts, or to participate in photo sessions. This is the black diamond, one of the rarest apples in the world. It has a dark purple, almost black color, and is only grown in the mountains of Tibet. Since they are grown more than 9,842 feet above sea level, the temperature and ultraviolet rays make them develop this unusual appearance. According to NASA, it is very likely that after decades of exposure to ultraviolet radiation, the flags left on the moon today are completely white. Meet Tom Peters. He is British, 36 years old, and lives a normal life, except that in his free time, he likes to behave like a Dalmatian puppy. He says this helps him relax. He walks on all fours, eats dog food, and sleeps on a rug on the floor. He barks, gets upset, and only responds to the name Spot when he puts on his latex dog suit. Incredibly, his case is not unique. In the United Kingdom, there are about 10,000 people with this same hobby. If you are a coffee lover, this fact will surprise you. There is a Thai coffee called Black Ivory that is made with elephant excrement. The animal eats the coffee fruits, and when it defecates, it is collected to be washed, roasted, and ground like any other coffee bean. The most interesting part is that the brave ones who have tried it say that Black Ivory is truly delicious, and 1 kilogram of this coffee can cost $1,500. During mating season, bald eagles perform aerial maneuvers to court, and they do it in this peculiar way. They lock their talons and spin. Just like humans, cats and dogs can get acne. In these animals, it is an inflammation of the hair follicle caused by bacteria or excess oil on the skin. These pimples can appear on the chin, the lips, the base of the tail, or the eyelids. In dogs, it usually happens only when they are between 5 and 8 months old. In contrast, feline acne appears occasionally and can become a recurring problem. This is what the bakery with a glass floor looks like. Customers can watch how bread is prepared while they shop. The Estación Bakery in Palma de Mallorca, Spain, has 2 floors, one to serve customers and another below where the bread is made. The most interesting thing about this bakery is that it has a large glass floor right in front of the counter. Thanks to this amazing structure, people can see how the bread and pastries they are buying are made. On this small ledge, coins are placed to cover the postman's expenses and the shipping cost. They are still used, but only in rural areas of the United States. Let me introduce you to the caecilian, a species of amphibian whose bite is venomous. Although this ability is often associated with snakes, it is believed that they may not be the oldest animals with this capability. That title apparently belongs to the caecilian, as these small, limbless creatures have venom-producing glands along their teeth. And that is not their only defense mechanism, as they also secrete a toxin-filled liquid through their tail. Submarine cables are high-capacity cables placed on the seabed to transmit data over long distances. They allow us to interconnect different parts of the world. These enormous cables make internet connection possible from anywhere and allow us to transmit data at higher speeds. They are made from highly resistant materials, strong enough to withstand even a shark bite. The white-tailed deer can jump up to 10 feet in the air. This video was taken on a highway in Poland, and here you can see not only the speed of these beautiful animals, but also their incredible jumping ability, which allows them to cross an entire road in a single leap. Tests have been conducted on Stradivarius violins, which have sold for up to $20 million, and it was found that their sound is not significantly different compared to a modern, professionally built violin. Their value actually comes from their status as collector's items. This is the Dumble granero, the Grimpotheuthis, a type of deep-sea octopus named after its fins that resemble the ears of Disney's elephant. It uses them to propel itself while swimming. Because they are very strange creatures, very little is known about these fascinating animals. What we do know is that they look very adorable. Elephants can communicate with each other over long distances using infrasound, which consists of low-frequency sounds that travel easily through the ground and other materials. These vocalizations are used for social coordination, reproduction, and warning of danger. Can you imagine living 150 feet high? The Korowai of Indonesia have built their houses in trees that can reach up to 150 feet in height. They believe that living at great height can protect them from floods, wild animals, insects, and evil spirits. They also take advantage of height to detect enemies or intruders from afar. They are among the last tribes on Earth that practice anthropophagy. The skunk has the strongest smell in the animal kingdom, which helps it deter predators and mark its territory. It can be detected by a human from more than 2/3 of a mile away and can last up to 3 weeks or more. This is the largest swordfish ever caught. James Lockhart, a fisherman from Oklahoma in the United States, caught the largest American swordfish ever recorded, measuring almost 6.5 feet in length and weighing 147 pounds. After confirming the measurements and weight of the animal, it was returned to its natural habitat. This catch broke the Guinness World Record. Have you ever heard about the nightingale floor? It was the name given to a very peculiar alarm invented in Japan. The nightingale floor was a noisy wooden floor that served as a warning. It was very useful at night if a thief or a ninja entered your home. In the darkness, the noise of the floor was so loud that it alerted the homeowners, who could defend themselves in time. I bet you did not know that airplane wings were this flexible. These are the rigorous tests they undergo before making their first flight. In the era of penny farthings, head injuries were so frequent that when going downhill, brave riders preferred to place their legs over the handlebars to make sure they would fall with their legs first instead of their heads. It was not long before someone realized that such a large wheel was not the best idea and invented the bicycle as we know it today. In Iceland, people believe in the existence of supernatural beings called Holdufolk. These are elves or dwarves who live in a parallel world to that of humans, but share some physical and behavioral characteristics with them. Meet the Asian paradise flycatcher. Males have a pair of long central tail feathers, and in some populations they have black and rufous plumage, while in others they have white plumage. The famous painting by Leonardo da Vinci, the Mona Lisa, is displayed in its own room in the Louvre Museum in Paris. The room, known as the Mona Lisa Room, is dedicated exclusively to the artwork and often attracts large crowds of visitors who come to admire it. This is an artificial variety of apples called Granny Smith. Its curious name comes from the British woman Maria Smith, who created the first graft in 1869 when she was 69 years old. That is why Granny Smith translates to Grandma Smith. Maria discovered some apples growing near a creek on her property in Australia. She soon realized they were excellent for cooking and began cultivating them. They were first sold in England in 1935 and in the United States in 1972. The Rafflesia is the largest flower in the world. It can measure up to 3 feet 3 inches in diameter and weigh up to 24 pounds. Its petal is 1 inch thick. There are 55 species of Rafflesia, 9 of which are found in Borneo. To avoid drying out under the scorching sun of the dry season, the giant monkey frog secretes a type of organic sunscreen and applies it to its body. It is an arboreal animal that usually moves among the branches of trees. Its pigmentation is green with cream-colored spots distributed irregularly along the sides of its legs and the membranes of its eyes. What you are seeing is known as botaoshi, a very famous sport in Japan. Each match requires at least 150 players per team, 75 defending and 75 attacking. To achieve victory, your team must make the pole reach a position of 30 degrees relative to the ground for 90 seconds. And as you can see, it is easier said than done. These matches can reach extreme intensity, so for safety, players must wear a large amount of protective gear. The first gasoline-powered automobile was built by Carl Benz in 1885. It was called the motor wagon and could reach a top speed of 10 miles per hour. As we can see, it only had 3 wheels. The word gymnasium comes from the Greek gymnasion, which means a place where one exercises naked. In ancient Greece, gymnasiums were public spaces where young men trained for the Olympic Games and other physical activities. As part of their training, athletes exercise naked. Over time, the meaning expanded to refer to any place where people can exercise, regardless of whether they do so naked or not. In the canals of Xochimilco is the Island of the Dolls, an island full of dolls hanging from the trees. It is said they were placed there by a man who wanted to appease the spirit of a girl who died on the island. Watch how luggage is stored inside an airplane's cargo compartments. Have you heard of transient luminous events? They are a meteorological phenomenon that occurs in the upper atmosphere during powerful electrical storms. They are flashes of light above the clouds that can be up to 62 miles from the ground. That is why they are very difficult to see. In addition, very few images have been captured because they last only milliseconds. Because they are so rare, they are also called sprites, elves, and blue jets. Watch how frogs look from below. It seems as if they had some kind of glue because they stick completely to the surface. This is the rainbow tree. Look at the bark of this tree. It looks like a genuine work of art. It is known as the rainbow eucalyptus, and the reason is obvious. This tree can reach 246 feet in height, and its branches are square. But the most interesting part is its multicolored bark. What happens is that patches of the outer bark fall off annually, exposing the green interior. As it matures, the color turns blue, purple, orange, and some shades of maroon. Because of its attractive appearance, it is often planted in parks and gardens as an ornamental tree. Look at what happens when you mix hydrogen peroxide and tert-butyl alcohol. This reaction is called chemiluminescence. Polar bears are excellent swimmers. Although they are generally associated with the ice and snow of the Arctic, polar bears are expert swimmers and can travel long distances in the water. They can swim at speeds of up to 6 miles per hour and travel hundreds of miles without resting in search of food. An 11-year-old girl named Venetia Burney gave the planet Pluto its name. When in 1930, the young girl saw in the news that an observatory had just discovered the small planet but had not yet named it, she told her grandfather she would like it to be called Pluto. The grandfather contacted the observatory, and they thought the name was a fantastic idea. Between 1913 and 1920, it was legal to send children by mail in the United States. The parcel service was introduced in 1913 at affordable prices, but there was one big problem. The definition of a package was unclear, leading some to interpret that it included children. The only restriction was weight, which could not exceed 50 pounds. And for 7 years, at least 200 children were mailed until Congress prohibited it, considering it cruel and inhumane. Are you one of those who think goldfish have short-term memory? This is a myth we see since childhood in cartoons when they tell the story of a goldfish that forgets everything after swimming around the fishbowl. But that is not true. Goldfish can remember where you placed their food even after 2 weeks. Fortune cookies were not invented in China. Although these cookies are widely associated with Chinese culture, they originated in the United States in 1918. They were created by Chinese immigrants in the United States as a way to make the cookies more appealing to Western customers by including a message inside. The creator of the Barbie and Ken dolls named them after her children, Barbara and Kenneth. In a way, Barbie and Ken are siblings. The Passage du Gois is a 2.5-mile road that connects France with the island of Noirmoutier. This passage is considered one of the most dangerous in the world because twice a day the tide rises and completely submerges it. Even though crossing it is prohibited at certain times, some people risk crossing when the tide is just beginning to rise, with not very pleasant results. This is what appears to be a reign of worms that took place in China during the spring of the year 2023. It coincided with the worm moon season, when soils are more fertile. However, the truth is that these are flowers that, when seen from afar, can be mistaken for worms. The flowers of the white poplar tree are long and dark and fall from the trees onto any surface. The rarest natural hair color in the world is red. Only 1 to 2% of the global population has it. The second rarest is blonde with 4%, followed by brown with 12%, and finally black with 75 to 80%. L'homme au doigt, or the man pointing, is a sculpture created in 1947 by Alberto Giacometti, and it is considered the most expensive sculpture in history after being auctioned for $141,280,000 in 2015. The artwork is known for its distinctive style and its abstract representation of the human figure. This piece, made of bronze by the Swiss sculptor in 1947 and standing 5 feet 9 inches tall, is a sculptural representation of existentialist philosophy and is part of a series of 6 works, of which it is the only one painted by the artist. Caterpillars have more muscles than humans. A caterpillar has approximately 4,000 muscles in its body, while humans only have around 600. This incredible number of muscles allows caterpillars to move with great flexibility, making it easier for them to climb and move among plant leaves. In this video, you can see the amount of water contained in fresh wood. It does not stop coming out while the wood is being crushed. This is why, for construction, wood must go through a drying process so it becomes stronger and able to support weight. Its natural moisture can make it very weak. In fact, building with this type of wood could be dangerous. Believe it or not, a dog in the United States inherited $5 million. American businessman Bill Doris left as his final wish before dying that all his money be used for the maintenance and well-being of his dog Lulu, an 8-year-old border collie. The $5 million went into a trust so that the dog's new caretaker, Martha Burton, could cover its needs. However, people do not believe that $5 million could be spent solely on a dog. This is how the window lifting mechanism in cars works. Octopus eyes are different from those of vertebrate animals because, although they appear similar, they actually evolved independently. The difference is that they have photoreceptor cells oriented toward the light. Their visual nerves pass behind the retina, so they do not have a blind spot. Let me introduce you to the mighty mice. Their name is very fitting, as these little animals were genetically modified so they can develop their muscles even while in outer space. One of the problems astronauts face aboard the International Space Station is that they lose about 40% of their muscle mass when they spend more than 5 months in space. But thanks to these mice, scientists believe that within a few years, they may develop a type of substance to help astronauts inhibit the hormones that produce bone and muscle loss. The tallest statue in the world is the Statue of Unity, located in India. Inaugurated in 2018, it has a total height of 597 feet, including the pedestal. The statue represents Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, a key leader after independence. Raccoons have an impressive memory. A study conducted in the 1900s showed that raccoons could remember the solution to problems and tasks for up to 3 years after learning them. This high level of intelligence and memory makes them some of the most cunning and adaptable animals in urban environments. This is the only restaurant in the world where people pay to be mistreated. It is Karen's Diner, a restaurant founded in 2021 in Australia whose premise is to offer good burgers but with terrible service. Forget smiles, good manners, and friendly treatment. Here, the servers will argue with you, insult you, and even ignore you when you ask for something. Although there are certain limits, those who visit this restaurant know how they will be treated and find this peculiar approach amusing. This video shows the moment a shark swallows a diver's camera and captures these incredible moments from inside its body. The budget to film the movie Titanic in 1997 was $200 million. This amount was greater than the cost of building the real ship, which at the time cost $7.5 million. Director James Cameron made 12 dives to the Titanic 2 years before filming began, which cost him $2 million. These dives allowed him to capture images that served as a model for the film's artistic design. This is the salp, and although it may look like a jellyfish, it is not, and it is not a fish either. It is phylogenetically part of a group of animals called tunicates, which are hermaphrodites and reproduce through generational alternation, meaning they combine some sexual phases with other asexual ones. They play a very important role in the ecosystem because they can feed on bacteria and small larvae and trap carbon from the ecosystem in the form of waste pellets that are heavier and end up sinking to the bottom. 70% of the planet is liquid, and salps play an important role in the fight to prevent global warming. They are pretty, they do not sting, and they help keep the ocean healthier by removing carbon. Monkeys living in zoos like the sound of traffic. This is the conclusion of a study conducted in Finland. Researchers installed sensors in the park so the primates could choose the sounds they wanted to hear. There were 4 options: a recording of a rainy day, dance music, relaxing sounds, and the winner, traffic. Whenever they activated this option, the monkeys would sleep or groom each other. This is because car horns produce sounds that primates use to communicate, such as whistles and squeaks. This is the shoebill, and it is one of the most terrifying birds that exist. It can reach up to 4.9 feet in height, and as you can see, it has an intense stare and presence. Its prehistoric appearance and the fact that it fears nothing make it one of the scariest birds in the world. There are also earthquakes on the moon. They are called moonquakes, and about 3,000 occur each year. Unlike earthquakes, which usually do not last more than 60 seconds, on this satellite, the shortest seismic movements last up to 10 minutes. Moonquakes are caused by meteor impacts and by heating from the sun. The reason they do not cause the same destruction as on Earth is because they have a maximum magnitude of 5 on the Richter scale. There's a bat that looks exactly like Yoda from Star Wars. Let me introduce you to the curious Yoda bat. Its name comes from its resemblance to the strange character from Star Wars. It is a species discovered in 2009 and lives only in Papua New Guinea. It uses its large eyes to navigate and find food, a quality that sets it apart from most of its relatives, which must emit sounds to recognize the position of objects, a process known as echolocation. It also feeds on fruits, making it very important to its ecosystem because it spreads seeds throughout tropical forests. Koala bears, despite their name, are not bears but marsupials belonging to the same family as kangaroos and wombats. They are native to Australia and feed mainly on eucalyptus leaves. Did you know this parasite secret? Let me introduce you to the parasite Saculina carcini, one of the most terrifying parasites that exists. It enters the crab and, as usual, uses it to feed, as well as to reproduce, since it creates a kind of sac outside the crab to reproduce with another infected crab. The host would instinctively try to cut this sac with its claws, but the parasite makes it believe it is its own egg sac. If the crab is male, Saculina castrates it and makes it behave like a female. There is a fissure where you can see the separation of tectonic plates. This is the Silfra fissure, the only place in the world where we can see the division of the Eurasian and American tectonic plates. It is located in the national park called Thingvellir in Iceland and is under crystal clear water, which allows us to clearly see the separation. It is a wonderful experience for lovers of diving and snorkeling, as it is not possible to see anything similar anywhere else in the world. As clumsy as it may look, this is an authentic pirate flag. Not all of them were great artists. This is Baljenak Island in Croatia. It is known worldwide as the Fingerprint Island. The small divisions are formed by hundreds of hand-built drywall panels constructed for agricultural purposes. Zebras have a unique stripe pattern on their coat that acts as camouflage and confuses predators. The stripes can also help regulate body temperature and act as an insect repellent by confusing flies. The phobia of being without a cell phone is called nomophobia, and it is a psychological disorder characterized by the irrational fear of not having a mobile phone or not having access to the internet. Nomophobia can cause mental stress, anxiety, depression, isolation, headaches, trembling, sweating, or heart palpitations. This phobia has increased in recent years due to the greater availability of smartphones and the rise of social media. Some spiders can disguise themselves as ants. Most do it to evade predators, but some do it to hunt them. They raise their front legs to mimic antennae. Salt made from human tears exists. There are tears of anger, sadness, and joy. According to the company that produces it, depending on the emotion, the salt takes on a different taste and appearance. This is the Polish dragon boat racing, a Polish sport in which two teams row in opposite directions inside the same boat. The first to cross the middle limit wins. It probably reminds you of tug of war, usually played with a rope and a dry surface. However, this version seems to be much more fun but exhausting. Have you ever seen a hairy tree? The strange mass of hair is nothing more than an accumulation of harvestmen, an extensive family of arthropods related to spiders. Harvestmen are not venomous and cannot weave webs because they lack the glands needed to do so. Meet the rainbow pigeon, one of the most striking birds in the world. This extraordinary bird lives in Asian tropical forests and mangroves. It displays a festival of colors all over its body, with purple tones on its head, a pink neck, and green wings. It feeds from trees, where it also spends most of its life. This colorful pigeon is considered one of the most beautiful birds in the world. A single cloud can weigh more than 200 elephants. Because of their appearance, you might think they are light, but the secret lies in their size. Even though they look small from the ground, a single cloud can measure about half a mile wide by half a mile long, meaning they are gigantic. A single cloud can easily weigh up to 1,100,000 pounds or even more. Pheasant Island changes nationality. This small island of 0.74 acres, located between France and Spain, changes hands every 6 months under the Treaty of the Pyrenees between the two countries. From February to August, it belongs to Spain, and then it belongs to France during the other 6 months. The thinnest snake in the world is an Oxybellus fulgitus, a slender and delicate snake that lives in Central America and northern South America, and it is quite popular in India. It is only 0.8 inches thick and can grow up to 5 feet long. It is not able to eat very large food because of how thin it is, and that is why it avoids it. Its temperament is quite calm with humans, but we should not be overconfident. Although its venom is not deadly, it can paralyze a finger for months. The Greenland shark is the longest living vertebrate in the world. It is estimated that it can live up to 392 years. They are slow-growing creatures, which is why they do not reach reproductive age until 150 years old. They can also reach 23 feet in length and weigh around 3,300 pounds. These are Mexican jumping beans, whose secret behind their curious movements is larvae. They are actually bush seeds inside which eggs of insects known as jumping bean moths have been laid. This happens because the insect takes advantage of the inside of the seed to feed and can live inside it for months. The beans jump as a survival mechanism of the moth, which reacts to heat, since heat could cause the seed to dry out and eventually kill it. The first Oscar ever awarded at the Academy Awards in the Best Actor category was going to be won by Rin Tin Tin, a German shepherd who starred in many films. However, because they thought the image of the awards could be affected if the very first edition gave the prize to a dog, the Oscar was ultimately given to Emil Jannings. Meet the orchid mantis, a beautiful but deadly insect. This insect has an almost perfect camouflage that makes it nearly invisible to its prey. The only two countries in the world that do not have laws allowing any form of divorce are the Philippines and the Vatican. In all other countries recognized by the United Nations, divorce is allowed. The cartilage in some people's noses is so soft that they can do this. Desmodus rotundus, or the vampire bat, is the only mammal that feeds exclusively on blood. It can consume up to half its weight in a single night. These well-known bats sleep during the day in total darkness, hanging upside down from cave ceilings. They usually gather in colonies of about 100 individuals, although sometimes they live in groups numbering more than 1,000. In 1 year, a colony of 100 vampire bats can drink the equivalent of 25 cows. The vampire hunts during the darkest hours of the night. It usually chooses horses or livestock while they sleep, but it is known to feed on humans as well. Some birds take ant baths. They position themselves on mounds of European red ants, which, as a defense mechanism, secrete formic acid, a natural insecticide. This behavior has been observed in more than 250 bird species. These are the most expensive dog and cat breeds in the world. On average, the Norwich Terrier and the Neapolitan Mastiff sell for $3,500. Cats are not far behind. The most expensive one is the Savannah cat, which ranges from $1,500 to $50,000. Meet the werewolf syndrome, the strange disease that continues to surprise everyone, as up to 30 cases have been found within a single family. Although only about 50 patients are properly documented worldwide, it is a rare genetic disorder characterized by an abundance of hair that can grow up to 10 inches long all over the body except for the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet. You might not know that chocolate played a big role during the filming of the famous movie Psycho. The legendary director Alfred Hitchcock insisted on using chocolate syrup to simulate blood in several scenes because it looked more realistic in black and white films. He believed that artificial blood looked thin and had an unconvincing color. According to research, approximately 2,400 bacteria coexist inside the human belly button, forming an ecosystem equivalent in size to a tropical rainforest. This is because the belly button, with its folds and crevices, creates a warm and humid environment ideal for bacterial growth. In addition, clothing and sweat can deposit dirt and dead skin cells in the belly button, feeding the bacteria. Capoeira, a combination of dance, music, and martial arts, originated in Brazil among African prisoners during the colonial period. What is interesting is that to avoid the ban on fighting practices, capoeira was disguised as a form of dance with agile and acrobatic movements to the rhythm of traditional instruments such as the berimbau. Today, capoeira is recognized as intangible cultural heritage of humanity by UNESCO. These are images of a Siberian husky waking up after remaining at 40 degrees below zero. These beautiful animals are known for their gorgeous double coat that protects them from the cold with no problem, as they are capable of enduring extreme cold. They are medium in length with erect ears and a brush-like tail. Their coloration can vary greatly from white to pure black. They are very active and athletic dogs that need daily physical exercise. Has this ever happened to your dog? It is known as reverse sneezing or paroxysmal respiration. It happens when the dog, instead of exhaling oxygen, inhales it again, which causes discomfort and a characteristic sound. If this happens, you can help with this small exercise. First, close its mouth. Second, cover one nostril with a finger. And third, gently rub its throat. If these episodes are very frequent, do not hesitate to visit a veterinarian. This strange organ that protrudes from this camel's mouth is called a dula. It is an inflatable sac inside its neck that comes out of its mouth when it is in heat. They use it as a way to attract females. Every year, about 27 million tons of dust travel from the Sahara Desert to the Amazon rainforest. This journey, which can last 10 days, carries minerals and nutrients that are crucial for fertilizing Amazonian soils, contributing to the balance of the ecosystem. It also helps neutralize the acidity of the soil caused by Amazonian rain, creating a more favorable environment for plant growth. Donkeys have an incredible memory. They can remember places and recognize other donkeys and humans after 25 years. They are surprisingly intelligent and emotional animals, and their famous stubbornness is due to their ability to reflect on dangerous situations and decide whether to proceed or step aside. The talented Russian artist Roman Butin has captivated the world by transforming old coins into impressive low-relief sculptures, the ancient art of modified coins, also known as hobo nickel. His ability to combine art, engineering, and mystery is simply fascinating. His works range from gloves that come to life, golden insects with movable wings, to a metallic heart that beats. In China, there is a solar power plant unlike any other in the world. Engineers decided it would be a great idea to arrange the solar panels in such a way that they resemble a panda bear from above. You can observe the curious design, and even though arranging the panels this way does not generate more energy, it is visited by many curious tourists. He is Gelje Sherpa, a Sherpa who became a true superhero when he found an unconscious climber on Everest. He gave him oxygen, placed him on his back, and walked downhill for 6 hours without stopping until he saved him. This is the first flying car airport in the world. The project is called Air One, and it was built in the British city of Coventry by the company Urban Airport together with Hyundai Motor. Air One is designed with the infrastructure and technology needed to adapt to flying vehicles, which began operating in the country in the year 2021. The station positions itself as the pioneer among more than 200 electric vertical takeoff and landing ports that are expected to be built worldwide. The zero-emission drones will transport passengers and cargo as part of what the company calls the next revolution in eco-air transportation. This was the Ford soybean car, a prototype car made from soy. It was patented in 1940 by the Ford Company and emerged because of World War II. Since metals and petroleum-derived materials were allocated to military purposes, car manufacturers had to think of other materials to keep production going. The Ford soybean car was made to be manufactured with 14 plastic panels obtained from soy, making it much lighter than conventional vehicles. However, it was never produced due to the evolution of the conflict. What you are seeing is the velvet shedding of a reindeer. Velvet is a layer of nutritious skin that covers bone and cartilage during the growth of the antlers. It is rich in blood vessels and nerves, which ensures proper blood circulation in the bone so that it grows optimally. At the end of its growth, when the bone is fully developed, reindeer remove all the velvet from their antlers by rubbing them against tree trunks. There are more than 2,500 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and none of them bear the name Leonardo DiCaprio, despite him being one of the most prominent actors in the industry. To obtain a star on the Walk of Fame, one must go through a fairly long, tedious, and above all, expensive process. First, someone must nominate you as a candidate, and once the plaque is revealed, you must pay for its creation and, more importantly, for its maintenance, which requires a fee of $50,000. It is for this last reason that many actors and actresses, including Leonardo, end up rejecting the offer. Meet the rarest squid on the planet, the piglet squid. Its name comes from its siphon, which is shaped like a pig's snout and is used to expel water, producing propulsion. Its entire appearance is very striking, such as its rounded body, the small tentacles that grow above its eyes, and its tiny fins. In addition, its skin is translucent, allowing its organs to be seen. It measures only about 4 inches in length. Discover Brick Art, the exhibition showcasing the largest Lego art display in the world. This exhibit features a collection of more than 100 creative and inspiring pieces by the renowned contemporary artist Nathan Sawaya. One of the favorite pieces is the iconic Yellow, a life-size sculpture of a man opening his chest with thousands of yellow Lego bricks pouring out like a waterfall. He is Billy Mitchell, a former video game player who broke many records during the 1980s and 90s. He was considered the world champion of Pac-Man and Donkey Kong until the year 2018, when an investigation concluded that all his scores were fraudulent. Billy denied it, but even so, he was removed from the record lists and was even banned from submitting new scores. However, believe it or not, after new investigations, it was determined that there had been no cheating, so all his records had to be reinstated. In Tokyo, there is a neighborhood decorated entirely with Captain Tsubasa, known in Latin America as Super Champions. It is the Yotsugi neighborhood, a place dedicated to completely honoring the anime that was part of many people's childhood. Khao Sok National Park in Thailand is home to one of the oldest rainforests in the world, even older than the Amazon. Interestingly, Khao Sok is famous for its biodiversity, including the Rafflesia flower, one of the largest flowers in the world, which can grow up to 3 feet in diameter. This park is a popular destination for ecotourism, with activities such as hiking, caving, and kayaking. This is how the Royal Theatre of Lumberhill managed to create this monumental skull measuring 22 feet tall. This giant skull is made up of 16 pieces that were produced using 3-dimensional printing. While watching the movie Stuart Little in 2009, Hungarian art historian Gergely Barki recognized the painting Lady Sleeping with a Black Vase by Robert Berenyi, which had been missing for more than 90 years. It was in the background of a scene and was apparently being used as room decoration. In 2014, this painting was sold at an auction for the staggering amount of $285,000. Meet Sociobot, a robot that can replicate almost any face. It was created by the British company Engineered Arts, and the goal of its developers was to create an autonomous assistant capable of having fluent conversations with people. It uses a two-camera system to track the movements of its conversation partner, allowing it to maintain eye contact at all times. It can detect our emotions through gestures and respond according to our mood. It became famous in the year 2014, but since the year 2019, it has been discontinued. The Sumidero Canyon, located in Chiapas, Mexico, is an impressive canyon formed more than 36 million years ago. What is interesting is that its walls reach heights of up to 3,280 feet, and the Grijalba River that runs through it is navigable, offering a unique ecotourism experience. The canyon is also a protected area that houses a great diversity of flora and fauna, including endangered species such as the river crocodile. Would you dare to wear pants like these? Believe it or not, they are sold in many famous clothing stores and are a complete success. Throughout history, many strange fashion trends have existed, such as face skinis, a type of balaclava used at the beach to protect the face from sunburn. But today there are other kinds of fashion trends, like ready-to-wear folded shoes, invisible jeans, and pants with heels included, and much more. Fashion is something that will always be changing, and there are definitely many styles to cover all tastes. In the year 1582, people around the world went to sleep on October 5th and woke up on October 15th. When the Julian calendar was created, the year was set at 365 days and 6 hours, when in reality, it was 365 days, 5 hours, 48 minutes, and 45 seconds. Although it was a minimal difference, during the nearly 1600 years it was in use, a mismatch of 10 days and 44 seconds had accumulated. It was not until 1582 when the necessary corrections were implemented. In fact, if you go back in the calendar to October of that year, you will notice that 10 days are missing. Meet the mustached frog, named after a very particular characteristic. It has a white line above its snout that indeed looks like a mustache. It is a very small frog that measures 1 inch. Females can lay between 400 and 500 eggs. These take between 30 and 35 days to hatch. Termites never sleep. These tireless insects work 24 hours a day, building their nests and searching for food. They do not have a regular sleep cycle like humans, which allows them to keep a colony always functioning. Thanks to this relentless activity, termites are known for creating enormous and complex underground structures. The dog breed that does not bark is the Basenji, a dog with a calm temperament and a vocal system different from other dogs, which explains its particular non-barking sounds. The Basenji has narrower and thinner vocal cords than other dogs, which is why the sound it makes is so unique. It is said that this breed was intentionally created using selective breeding methods thousands of years ago. Has your pet ever slept next to your feet? You should know that this behavior is not only about comfort, but also about emotional bonding. By resting near you, dogs can stay alert to certain signals, expressing their desire to accompany you when you are about to leave. This is what the skeleton of a volcano looks like. This is the impressive Shiprock Mountain in the desert of New Mexico. It is the throat of a volcano that lost its heat source, and the magma solidified more than 30 million years ago. Erosion has exposed it, and this is how its skeleton looks. According to the Bible, the Ark of the Covenant is a sacred chest where the stone tablets with the 10 Commandments given by God to Moses on Mount Sinai were kept. Throughout the centuries, it has been the object of fascination, and numerous expeditions have attempted to locate it based on biblical descriptions and legends. Have you ever wondered why so many Disney characters wear gloves? Mainly for one reason. Since these drawings were created in black and white at the beginning, their hands would disappear in the animations. The solution was to put white gloves on them. Additionally, this accessory made the characters appear more human. Despite having been nominated several times, Leonardo DiCaprio won his first Oscar for Best Actor in 2016 for his role in the movie The Revenant, and it is the only Oscar he has won so far. His acceptance speech went viral for his passionate defense of the environment. If you like Formula One racing and have always wanted to feel the speed and adrenaline of riding in one of these cars, now you have the chance to experience something similar thanks to the Ferrari Land Red Force attraction, which simulates the acceleration of a Formula One car of the Italian team. You may not have known that this is the correct way to close a bag of potato chips or snacks. Norway is the country with the most tunnels in the world, with more than 900. They cross through mountains and fjords. Some of the most notable tunnels include the longest road tunnel in the world, the Lærdal Tunnel, which stretches for more than 14.9 miles under the Lærdal Mountain in western Norway. Rolls-Royce was founded in 1904 by Charles Rolls and Henry Royce in the United Kingdom, and it quickly became the epitome of luxury automobiles. The first model, the Rolls-Royce 10 HP, stood out not only for its elegant design, but also for its extraordinary engineering. In 1907, the brand won the prestigious title of the best car in the world in a durability test. Additionally, Rolls-Royce has also been an important manufacturer of aviation engines, and its famous motto, "The best car in the world," has remained over the years, symbolizing a commitment to quality and excellence in the automotive industry. These incredible sculptures created by stacking coins are the work of a Japanese user known as Thumb Tani. He is able to play with the balance of these pieces because they come in different sizes and weights. In addition, the 5 and 50 yen coins have holes in the center, which allows him to make more interesting combinations. The moth has the best hearing in the animal kingdom. To give you an idea, a human can hear a frequency of up to 20 kilohertz, but a moth can hear up to 300 kilohertz. The White Temple of Wat Rong Khun in Thailand. This contemporary temple in Chiang Rai, Thailand, is notable for its unusual and completely white design with mirror inlays that refract light. The temple is both a work of art and a place of worship, filled with symbolism that blends traditional Buddhist elements with modern and surreal touches. Gillette was founded in 1901 by King Camp Gillette, who revolutionized personal care with the invention of the disposable razor blade. Before his invention, razor blades were reusable and required sharpening, which was impractical. Gillette introduced the first razor with disposable blades in 1903, and his innovative business model offered the razors at a low price while selling the blades separately. This strategy not only made shaving easier, but also helped establish it as one of the most recognized brands in the personal care industry. Today, Gillette continues to be a leader in shaving and personal care products. Tommy Hilfiger, founder of the brand that bears his name, began his fashion career in the 1980s, selling jeans and secondhand clothing in his hometown of New York. What is curious is that in 1985, he launched his own clothing line, which focused on a preppy, American style that quickly gained popularity. Hilfiger managed to stand out by associating his brand with celebrities and cultural events, becoming a symbol of youth fashion. In 1995, his brand was named Best Menswear Brand at the CFDA Awards, solidifying his place in the global fashion industry. The movie Titanic cost more than the construction of the actual ship. Titanic, directed by James Cameron in 1997, had a production budget of around $200 million, while the construction of the Titanic in 1912 cost approximately $7.5 million. This is an interactive machine that teaches you how to perform CPR. They have been installed in several airports in the United States. In just 5 minutes, you can learn how to save a life. Hiroshi Ishiguro is a Japanese creator who built a robot with artificial intelligence and an appearance as human as possible. It has a very realistic look, and he has paid close attention to the smallest details, such as facial expressions. He believes that in the near future, it will be possible to build machines that are almost indistinguishable from real people. The most curious of his robots is the Geminoid HI-4, which is an incredible replica of himself. The oldest country in the world is in Europe. It is not very surprising that the longest-lived country in the world is in the old continent, but what may surprise you is which one it is: San Marino, a small country with only 24 square miles of territory. It is the oldest state in the world, formed in the year 301 after Christ. Rattlesnakes shake their rattle to warn of their presence and protect themselves from predators. The rattle is made up of hollow keratin segments, the same protein that forms nails and hair. When the snake shakes the tip of its tail, the segments rub together and produce a distinctive sound. The sound of the rattle tricks threats into believing the snake is closer than it actually is. This is a fantastic replica of the Pyramid of Giza, built in the yard of a house and constructed by a couple from the town of Istina in Russia. The pyramid is 30 feet tall and another 30 feet deep. They built the replica by stacking concrete blocks for 2 years. The total weight of the blocks reached 880,000 pounds. Although it may seem like just a strange decoration, the people who designed it claim that it is a pyramid with healing and protective powers, capable of saving the earth. Meet the Basenji, the only dog breed that does not bark. Originally from Central Africa, this ancient breed communicates through a peculiar yodel, growls, and whines. Its inability to bark is due to its vocal cords being narrower and thinner, and its vocal apparatus being located in the larynx, similar to that of humans. You may not know this, but watching horror movies can help you lose weight. This is because when watching them, our heart rate and adrenaline increase dramatically, which makes our body burn calories. You can burn up to 200 calories depending on the intensity and duration of the movies. In fact, the movies that burn the most calories are The Shining with 184, Jaws with 161, and The Exorcist with 158 calories. However, keep in mind that this is only a slight aid and does not replace exercise or a healthy diet. The phenomenon of the Fermi paradox raises the question of why in such a vast universe we have not yet found evidence of extraterrestrial civilizations. This paradox has led to numerous theories and speculations about the existence of intelligent life beyond Earth. Kodak was founded in 1888 by George Eastman in Rochester, New York. The name Kodak was invented by Eastman, who wanted a name that was short, easy to pronounce, and had no meaning in any language. Kodak revolutionized photography by introducing the roll film camera, allowing people to take pictures without having to be photography experts. Its famous slogan, "You press the button, we do the rest," captured its mission to make photography accessible to everyone. However, despite its early success, Kodak did not adapt quickly to the rise of digital photography in the 1990s, which led to its decline and the eventual bankruptcy in 2012. There are graves with QR codes. It is an interesting service used by family and friends of the deceased to share audio-visual material. The QR code is placed on the tombstone, and when scanned, it allows you to view images, videos, or music related to the person who passed away. Have you ever seen a dolphin practicing bubble ring control? We are increasingly understanding why dolphins are known for being one of the most intelligent species on the planet. The word sushi in Japanese does not refer specifically to raw fish, but to the vinegared rice used in its preparation. This man improves Hollywood movies by inserting his cat into them. This is Lizzie, a black cat better known on the internet as Owl Kitty. In his latest video, we can see her in the universe of Jurassic Park. This is Lucas, a cardiopulmonary resuscitation device. With this robot, paramedics can standardize the quality of resuscitation and minimize interruptions and compressions. This is the hard work behind creating this Batman stop-motion scene. Stop motion is an animation technique that creates the illusion of movement in static objects through a series of still images. Basically, photos are taken of an object or character in slightly different positions. This is how a person's face deforms at 186 miles per hour. The video was recorded in a controlled environment. Never forget to wear a helmet. In 1971, a group of Soviet geologists was digging in the Karakum Desert in search of oil and natural gas deposits. Halfway through their work, the ground collapsed, creating a crater 226 feet in diameter and 98 feet deep. They discovered that the crater was filled with methane, and since the village of Darvaza was very close, they decided to set it on fire. This was due to the concern that the amount of gas being released was too much and could displace the oxygen in the area, which could cause suffocation. They estimated that the fire would burn for a day or two, but today, 53 years later, the pit is still burning. This shows that setting it on fire was the right decision. In 2013, it was discovered that despite the hostile environment, microbial life exists in the crater, raising the question of whether life could exist elsewhere in the universe under similar conditions. This is the Hupfeld Phonolost Violina, a musical instrument that plays automatically. It was presented to the public for the first time at the 1910 World's Fair in Brussels. It measures about 8 feet 2 inches tall, 6 feet 6 inches wide, and 3 feet 3 inches deep. It can play 3 violins and a piano automatically. It was developed in Germany by Ludwig Hupfeld and the Hupfeld Company, dedicated to making automatic pianos, pianola rolls, and the machines known as orchestrons. The company sold this type of instrument for 20 years without any competition. Ikebana, the Japanese art of flower arranging, goes far beyond simply placing flowers in a vase. What is interesting is that it focuses on balance, harmony, and simplicity, using branches, leaves, and flowers to create a work of art that reflects a connection with nature. Each arrangement follows strict rules and symbolizes the fleeting nature of life, making Ikebana a spiritual practice. This is the S-Airbag Smart Anti-Fall Vest, your personal guardian against accidents. It offers full coverage that protects hips, waist, back, and neck. This invention is equipped with high technology that detects any fall risk. When necessary, its advanced system deploys its characteristic vest to cushion and protect every vulnerable part of your body, inflating in only 0.08 seconds. This is the waterfall swing. The idea consists of a swing where an intricate internal mechanism generates a waterfall that, at the exact moment when the swing should get wet, creates the precise opening to avoid the water. It also has a drainage system on the ground to reuse the water, filter it, and use it again for the rain effect. Its name is Deus Ex Machina, and it was created by -7 Design. It consists of a structure 18 feet tall with seats suspended by very strong cables and a tank of 113 liters of water that is released as a waterfall every minute, controlled by 273 independent solenoids. Let me introduce you to the thresher shark. Its most striking feature is the elongated shape of its tail, which measures almost as long as the rest of its body. This is also what gives the shark its name, since it uses its tail to strike and stun schools of fish and even birds when they are swimming near the surface of the water. It swings its tail like a whip at an average speed of nearly 31 miles per hour, which turns out to be a very efficient method for obtaining food. The Hintuatan Enchanted River in the Philippines. This river, nicknamed the Enchanted River, is famous for its crystal clear, deep blue water that flows directly into the Pacific Ocean. The river's source is an underground spring, and its depth and the underwater caves it contains remain largely a mystery, which has led to local legends about its magical origin. Lake Titicaca is located in the Andes between Bolivia and Peru and has an average elevation of approximately 12,506 feet above sea level. It is recognized as the highest navigable lake in the world. In addition, it is known for its rich biodiversity, the ancient cultures that live along its shores, and its floating islands made of totora, a type of aquatic plant. Before his film career, Dwayne Johnson was a successful professional wrestler known as The Rock in World Wrestling Entertainment. He made a successful transition into the film world and was the highest-paid actor in the world between 2018 and 2019, with earnings of $23 million for Jumanji. Look at this Coca-Cola advertisement. What you see are pigeons arranged in a formation that spells out the brand's name. This happened in the 1960s in St. Mark's Square in Venice, Italy. The trick was to use large amounts of birdseed to form the word Coca-Cola on the ground. This way, the birds were attracted to the food and arranged themselves according to the pattern of the seeds. The Son Doong Cave, located in Vietnam, is the largest cave in the world in terms of volume. It has passages that reach up to 650 feet high and 490 feet wide, along its approximately 5.6 miles in length. The cave contains a series of unique features, including enormous stalactites and stalagmites, underground rivers, waterfalls, crystal-clear lakes, and rock formations carved by nature over millions of years. Believe it or not, bees could replace drones in crop fields. The University of Washington created a small, smart backpack that can be worn by these animals. This backpack sends real-time information about the bee's location to create a kind of two-dimensional map. This way, farmers will be able to monitor their land with the help of these small flying insects. Invisible yet powerful magnetic force is truly interesting, as this experiment demonstrates. Watch how these metal spheres gain speed using only magnetism. Humpback whales sing complex songs. They are known for their elaborate and distinctive songs that can last up to 20 minutes and repeat for hours. These songs may contain complex patterns of sounds and are believed to play a role in whale communication and mating. This is the Drake Passage, one of the areas with the worst maritime conditions for navigation. Look at the view from the windows of this cruise ship. Chinese calligraphy is considered an art form in Chinese culture and not just a means of writing. What is interesting is that calligraphy has been practiced for more than 2,000 years, and each stroke is carefully executed to express the beauty and meaning of Chinese characters. Calligraphy is valued not only for its aesthetics, but also for its ability to reflect the calligrapher's personality and education. This is a dead tree trunk that looks quite frightening. It is a sculpture located in the Aburi Botanical Gardens in Ghana and was carved by an unknown local artist. With this incredible work, he wanted to pay homage to all the men and women who lived as prisoners throughout history. Lake Hillier in Australia is famous for its bright pink color. This unique color is due to the presence of a type of microalgae called Dunaliella salina, which produces red and pink pigments as part of its photosynthetic process. Banknotes have patterns that prevent the reproduction in photocopiers. There is a security system embedded in paper money to prevent counterfeiting. It works perfectly because printers recognize the patterns and alter the design. And even some programs like Photoshop recognize banknotes and do not allow them to be edited or modified to prevent fraud. The Bajau are a tribe from the Philippines whose members can hold their breath underwater for 13 minutes and dive up to 196 feet deep in the sea. This is practically impossible for most people, but they can do it thanks to a genetic mutation that makes their bodies release more oxygen into the bloodstream than ours. From late April to early May, more than 5 million blue Nemophila flowers bloom in Hitachi Seaside Park in Japan, creating a stunning landscape known as Nemophila harmony. Dolphins can recognize themselves in a mirror just 7 months after birth, something that takes humans 12 months and chimpanzees 2 years. The world record for the shortest time in a Formula One pit stop is only 1.80 seconds. This record belongs to the McLaren team in the 2023 Qatar Grand Prix. The pit crew is very important in a Formula One race because they must act quickly so the driver can return to the competition as soon as possible and not lose valuable seconds of advantage, which is why they train just as much as the drivers to achieve that goal. The black sapote is a fruit that tastes like chocolate pudding. Native to Central America and Mexico, this fruit has a soft and sweet flesh that resembles the flavor of chocolate. The Margarita pizza is named after Queen Margherita, who in 1889 visited the Pizzeria Brandi in Naples. The chef prepared a special pizza for her that featured the 3 colors of the Italian flag. Nokia was founded in 1865 by Fredrik Idestam as a paper mill in Finland. Nokia was not always dedicated to the telecommunications industry. In its early years, the company diversified into multiple sectors, including rubber, electrical cables, and electronic products. It was not until the 1990s that Nokia became a world leader in mobile phone manufacturing, popularizing iconic models such as the Nokia 3310. This model is famous for its durability and the snake game. However, the company faced major challenges in the smartphone era, which led to restructuring and a renewed focus on its technology. The liquid you see on screen is chenga, a very popular drink in Kenya. It is produced from the distillation of corn or sorghum grains. However, it is sometimes adulterated with substances such as airplane fuel, embalming fluid, or battery acid, and as you can imagine, it is not good at all for the consumer's health. In some cases, it has caused death. Because of this, its production and sale are controlled by the police, although some people continue producing it clandestinely without following the regulations. Before becoming an actor, Vin Diesel was an expert in breakdance and even taught classes. This was discovered when someone found a VHS tape from the 1980s where Diesel, thinner and with hair, could be seen showing his dance moves. The national anthem of Spain has no lyrics. The Marcha Real is one of the only four national anthems in the world, along with those of Bosnia and Herzegovina, Kosovo, and San Marino, that have no official lyrics. The absence of lyrics in the Spanish anthem is due to the fact that no agreement has been reached on the matter throughout its history. Spain has had two anthems without lyrics, the Himno de Riego and the current Marcha Granadera. The top hat, popularized in the 19th century, was considered a symbol of status and elegance in men's fashion. Interestingly, when the first top hat was worn in public by John Hetherington in 1797, it caused such a commotion that people gathered around him, creating a crowd, and Hetherington was fined for causing a disturbance. Over time, the top hat became an essential piece of formal attire. If you have a friend who lives very far away, both of you should consider getting friendship lamps. These devices are designed to keep people connected over long distances or through the internet. When one person touches a lamp, the other, located anywhere in the world, instantly lights up with the same color. Some versions even allow sending preset messages or light patterns, providing a way for people to feel more connected during moments of loneliness or isolation. In 1980, the case became known of a math student with an intelligence quotient of 126 whose brain had a thickness of barely 0.04 inches. His skull was filled mostly with cerebral spinal fluid. This was due to hydrocephalus, a disease that is usually fatal in the first months of life, and when one survives, disabilities are common. But this was not the case for him. Surprisingly, the lack of brain mass did not cause deterioration in any of his cognitive functions. His doctor, John Lorber, concluded that the brain is capable of adapting to the body and can function perfectly even when its shape and volume are reduced. The disc for the video game FIFA 2001 released a smell when scratched, an idea from the company EA Sports. The disc had the words "scratch and sniff" on it. Following those instructions released the scent of freshly cut grass. Disney's The Lion King was inspired in part by Shakespeare's play Hamlet. In it, Prince Hamlet struggles to avenge his father's death and faces moral and ethical dilemmas in the process. In The Lion King, Simba is forced to confront his uncle Scar, who usurps the throne and is responsible for the death of his father, King Mufasa. This is the floating road guided across a river. Tuapeka Punt is a ferry crossing in New Zealand that has been operating for 125 years and continues to this day. The impact of the asteroid that wiped out all the dinosaurs was so strong that it could have sent rocks from Earth to Mars, as well as to other points in the solar system such as Jupiter's moon, Europa. This means that if we ever find life in those places, it could have originated on Earth. In 2010, as a joke, the team in charge of creating Windows Phone held a funeral for the iPhone. According to them, Microsoft's phone would surpass Apple in sales and drive them into bankruptcy. But today, Windows Phone no longer exists. Located in Nova Scotia, Canada, Oak Island is famous for its supposed buried treasure and the numerous expeditions that have tried to discover it. Despite the efforts and investments, the mystery of the treasure remains unsolved. The loudest animal in the world is a shrimp. It is called Alpheus rendali, or pistol shrimp, and it can produce a sound of up to 200 decibels with its claws. A tesseract is a figure made up of 8 three-dimensional cubes positioned in a space where a fourth dimensional axis exists, meaning a four-dimensional cube. This was the first diet soda. It was invented in 1952 by Hyman and Morris Kirsch, father and son Russian immigrants in the United States. Their brand was called No Cal Soda, and the first flavor they released was ginger ale. It was aimed at diabetic patients and people with cardiovascular problems. Because of the success they achieved with this product, they created more flavors and ended up inspiring other soda brands to produce their own sugar-free versions. Meet the Torrid Pulse, a device that shoots rings of compressed air underwater. It connects to the low-pressure port of a diving tank and launches up to 35 bubble rings. The flooded forest of the Amazon. During the rainy season, vast areas of the Amazon rainforest flood when the rivers overflow. This phenomenon creates an astonishing landscape known as the flooded forest or várzea, where you can navigate by canoe among the submerged trees. This aquatic ecosystem is crucial for the region's biodiversity and provides habitats for many aquatic and tree species during the rainy season. She is Antonia, a polar bear with dwarfism. Her head and parts of her body are almost normal in size, but her legs are unusually short. Antonia measures only 4 feet and 5 inches and weighs 286 pounds. To give you an idea, a female polar bear usually measures more than 7 feet and 2 inches, with a weight of 705 pounds. She was born in 1989 at the Zoom Experience World Gelsenkirchen Zoo in Germany, weighing only 14 ounces. Despite being very small, Antonia lives comfortably in this place, and both the caretakers and the visitors have grown very fond of her. This is the largest tie in the world to date. It was placed around the Pula Arena in Croatia on October 18, 2003, to commemorate Tie Day. In the Vietnamese province of Son La, there is a glass bridge more than 1,968 feet long. The Bac Long Bridge, also known as the White Dragon Bridge, considered the longest glass bridge in the world. Meet the largest bat in the world. I am referring to the Philippine flying fox. It measures approximately 5 feet and 7 inches and weighs up to 3 pounds. It lives in the wooded areas of the Mindanao jungles in the Philippines. Despite its large size, the Philippine flying fox is an agile and fast animal in the air, as it can reach speeds of up to 37 miles per hour and travel more than 25 miles in a single night. The creator of Pac-Man publicly showed his designs and sketches for the game. It is undoubtedly a dream for any collector. Istanbul in Turkey is the only city in the world that spans 2 continents, Europe and Asia. Interestingly, Istanbul has been the capital of 3 different empires: the Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, and the Ottoman Empire. Its rich history is reflected in its monuments, such as Hagia Sophia, which has been a cathedral, a mosque, and now a museum, symbolizing the fusion of cultures in this unique metropolis. The Plitvice Lakes in Croatia. This national park is famous for its stunning crystal-clear lakes connected by a series of waterfalls and cascades. The lakes are divided into upper and lower lakes and are known for their distinctive colors, which range from deep blue to emerald green depending on the minerals and organisms in the water. This is how astronauts eat in space. Basically, they eat meals prepared in advance that meet each astronaut's nutritional requirements. The food can be canned, wrapped in aluminum, dehydrated, pre-cooked, and low in moisture. Astronauts can heat their meals in low-temperature ovens found on spacecraft. For seasoning, they have salt diluted in water and pepper diluted in oil. The Atacama Desert in Chile is the driest place in the world, even drier than the Sahara. It is also the only true desert that receives less precipitation than the polar deserts and the largest fog desert in the world. Additionally, both regions have been used as testing sites on Earth for Mars simulations. Glass is a big problem for birds. This sad statistic about birds crashing into windows is shocking. It is estimated that between 100 million and 1 billion birds die every year in the United States alone. The company Hot Licks has been creating edible insect candies for more than 25 years. They make everything from scorpion lollipops to chocolate-covered worms. The creators claim these products are not only harmless but even beneficial for humans. This is what lunar surface sand looks like under a microscope magnified 350 times. The surface of the moon is composed of metals that melted due to explosions that occurred millions of years ago, and fragments of meteorites that impacted it, causing the surface to look this way. Hippos can run at a speed of 31 miles per hour. To give you an idea, the maximum speed reached by a human is 28 miles per hour. Despite their appearance, hippos are extremely fast. In Germany, fences are installed on the sides of the road so cars do not run over frogs. At the end of the day, a person helps them cross. Superman, created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster in 1938, is considered the first comic book superhero and a global cultural icon. Interestingly, the creator sold the rights to Superman to DC Comics for only $130. Superman has become a symbol of justice and hope, with his emblem recognized around the world. His success paved the way for the golden age of superhero comics. This is how baby elephants drink water. They do not know how to control their trunks until they are 9 months old. In New York City in 1945, there was a strike of elevator operators that caused more than 1 million people to be unable to get to work. As a result of this strike, people learned to use elevators on their own, and the operators became obsolete. These are curious Rubik's Cubes shaped like fruits. They belong to a series called Fruit from the brand Fancy. They work the same as the puzzle we commonly know. Even though they replicate the shape of oranges, bananas, lemons, or apples, they have a multi-axis pivot mechanism to scramble the pieces and then align them. Before discovering how to melt and work iron, there were already instruments created with this type of metal. The forged iron came from meteorites, commonly known as siderites. The first tests performed with penicillin were done on mice. If they had been done on other animals like guinea pigs, history would have been different because they are allergic. When the Mona Lisa was stolen from the Louvre Museum in 1911, the empty frame received many more visitors than the painting ever had. Meet botaoshi, a traditional game practiced in all schools in Japan, especially during school festivals. 2 teams, each with 75 participants divided into 2 groups, fight tirelessly to maintain or overthrow a pole placed vertically. The rules are simple, since to bring down the pole almost anything is allowed: kicks, pushes, and even slaps if necessary. This is how NASA astronauts simulate microgravity. This crane-shaped device called Argos helps train future astronauts so they can get used to the gravity they will experience on the space station and on the moon. Have you ever wondered why flamingos are pink? The reason is their diet. These birds feed on small crustaceans called Artemia salina, which contain pink pigments, causing their feathers to acquire that peculiar color. The Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt was built with 2 million blocks of stone that weighed more than 4,400 pounds. It took no less than 85 years to be completed. This backpack is capable of transforming into a protective vest in a matter of seconds. The unusual product was created by the Israeli company Masada Arm. The item is made with anti-ballistic material and has a pair of straps that allow the backpack to slide quickly and transform into a protective vest. This product saw a rapid increase in sales in some countries. There is a type of bat whose mothers throw their babies out of the nest. It is called Uroderma bilobatum. The females push their young with their forearms and encourage them to wean and start flying. This allows baby bats to become independent in just 1 month. Meet the gigantic wheel that moves boats from one canal to another. This is the enormous Falkirk wheel, a rotating boat lift that connects the Forth and Clyde Canal with the Union Canal. Some monkeys can be so intelligent that they interact with electronic devices like cell phones, just as you see in these images. Also, modern electronic devices are designed so that anyone can use them. Well, not only people, animals too. In Pixar's animated movie Up, Carl Fredricksen uses 10,297 balloons to lift his house and travel to Paradise Falls. Although in real life it would take about 30 million balloons to lift the house, the film's effects artist John Reek admitted in an interview that he and his team created that number of balloons one by one. The bluefin tuna can reach speeds of up to 43 miles per hour in short bursts. This incredible speed allows them to efficiently hunt their prey, such as small fish and squid, as well as avoid their natural predators. JBL, founded in 1946 by James Below Lansing, has been a benchmark in the audio industry since its beginnings. Lansing, who had previously worked on developing loudspeakers for cinema, created JBL with the vision of offering high-fidelity sound for both professional and home use. In 1969, JBL revolutionized outdoor concerts by designing the sound systems used at the iconic Woodstock Festival. This accomplishment solidified the company as a leader in sound quality at large events. The raven is the most intelligent bird in the world. Ravens are known for their ability to use tools, such as small branches or sticks, and they can even imitate a variety of sounds, including human sounds. Look at this incredible jump. It was performed by French motocross rider Tom Pages. It was recorded as the first base jump with a backflip on a motorcycle. The rider launched himself at nearly 50 miles per hour from more than 180 feet high. In Japan, you can buy eel ice cream. It is an unusual combination, but surprisingly popular. This ice cream offers a unique and adventurous experience for lovers of exotic flavors. Although it may sound strange, the eel adds a smoky and salty taste to the ice cream, creating a delicious blend of sweet and salty in every bite. It is yet another example of the culinary creativity found in Japanese culture, where innovation and tradition merge to surprise taste buds around the world. In New Zealand, you can visit the filming set used in The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit movies. Interestingly, the set, located on a farm near Matamata, has become a permanent tourist attraction. The Hobbit village was originally built with temporary materials, but it was rebuilt with greater detail for the Hobbit films, and now visitors can explore the Hobbit houses and enjoy a drink at the famous Green Dragon Tavern. The Italian sculptor Lorenzo Panti also holds a degree in natural sciences and has combined his artistic talent with his love for insects to produce impressive, realistic, and enormous sculptures. Panti strives to achieve scientific accuracy in his models in order to capture many of the details of living insects. For many people, it may seem disgusting, but it is certainly an incredible talent. This is the emergency system used by some gas stations around the world. It is designed to automatically release foam in case of a fire. Human beings eat more bananas than monkeys. In general, primates feed on other animals, insects, plants, and fruits, but not exclusively on bananas. The Lucy mud volcano, also known as the Sidoarjo mudflow, is a mud volcano in the province of East Java, Indonesia. It has been erupting continuously since May of the year 2006. It is believed to have been triggered by natural gas drilling, and since then it has displaced thousands of people and caused significant property damage. It is one of the few mud volcanoes in the world that have remained active for so long. The iconic white glove Michael Jackson used during his performances became his trademark. He began wearing it to cover a skin condition called vitiligo that affected the pigmentation of his hand. In 2009, his legendary glove, known as the Moonwalk, sold for $350,000 at an auction. These baby manatees are not biting their mother's flippers, they are drinking her milk. The nipples of these animals are located in this curious place. The stone forests of Tsingy in the Tsingy de Bemaraha Integral Nature Reserve in Madagascar contain an impressive series of limestone formations known for their sharp rock spires. This unique landscape has been carved by water over millions of years, creating a maze of stone towers, deep canyons, and caves that host a diversity of endemic wildlife. Hot Wheels, launched in 1968 by Mattel, revolutionized the world of toy cars with its innovative focus on design and speed. Unlike other toys of the time, these small cars were designed to look more sporty and bold, inspired by American muscle cars. One of the first designers of Hot Wheels was Harry Bentley Bradley, who had worked as a car designer for General Motors, which explains the incredible realism of the models. Since then, Hot Wheels has sold more than 6 billion cars, more than any automotive manufacturer in the world. This is the Hedgehog Carbon, an umbrella that is practically indestructible against any force of wind. Umbrellas are one of the most discarded items in the world due to their poor quality, but those days are over thanks to the hedgehog carbon. This product is made from carbon fiber and polycarbonate, resistant and lightweight materials. The most interesting part is that, according to its tests, this object can withstand winds from a Category 1 hurricane. And that is not all. The umbrella has a lifetime warranty. This park, located near San Salvador, features an impressive rock formation known as the Devil's Door. This steep crack offers spectacular panoramic views of the surrounding valley and has become a popular spot for climbing and hiking. Local legend says that the crack was created during an earthquake after a confrontation between two popular saints. Garlic has been used as medicine for centuries, especially for its antimicrobial properties. It contains a compound called allicin, which is released when the garlic is cut or crushed. Allicin has the ability to fight bacteria, viruses, and fungi, making garlic a natural antibiotic. Disney World workers have a procedure to evacuate people in case of an emergency. This procedure involves holding hands, forming a human barrier, and walking toward the exit until all guests are outside. This is the King Koi Coffee Garden, a restaurant where you eat surrounded by koi fish. The owners say there are approximately 3,000 fish swimming around the tables. There is a planet more habitable than Earth. It is Kepler 442b, a rocky exoplanet 1,206 light-years away that has a habitability of 0.836, while Earth has 0.829. Have you ever wondered what investment NASA makes to investigate the outer world? NASA had a budget of more than $27 billion for the year 2024. These are slow feeders, plates for dogs designed to make them eat more slowly. Their design, with barriers inside the bowl, makes it harder for pets to bring food to their mouths. That is why it takes them much longer to eat, since it forces them to chew patiently and prevents them from choking by eating desperately. It also greatly improves their digestion. However, this invention does not always work because some dogs are smarter and simply flip the bowls to eat directly from the floor. Octopuses are known for their flexibility, their three hearts, their problem-solving intelligence, and also for their ability to camouflage themselves, a skill that allows them to adapt to their surroundings and avoid predators. To do this, octopuses use their skin, which contains pigments called chromatophores that they can expand or contract at will in order to change color. The artist John Vorman created the dispatch work movement, which invites people to repair the walls and monuments of their cities using Lego bricks. On this map, you can see all the interventions that have been made. Fila was founded in 1911 in Biella, Italy, by brothers Ferdinando and John Severo Fila as a company that initially specialized in manufacturing underwear. Fila became a leader in the sportswear sector in the 1970s, especially after tennis player Bjorn Borg began wearing its products, which helped popularize the brand in the sports world. In the 1980s and 1990s, Fila became an icon of urban fashion and retro style. The brand has had a resurgence in recent years with a focus on vintage design and modern collaborations, attracting a new generation of consumers. This carpenter builds furniture that appears to float in the air. His name is John Malecki, and he shares his creations on his YouTube channel. These tables stand thanks to tensegrity, a structural principle that combines elements within a network of tension. In this way, each component exists to support another. That is why the thin cords can give the table firmness. However, several calculations must be performed to determine the correct measurements, which is why John creates computer models before making them a reality. This is the smallest spinner in the world. Do you remember when these were trendy a few years ago? In 2017, a Japanese company worked on creating this miniature version and, believe it or not, it is fully functional, but as you can imagine, it is quite difficult to spin because it is only 0.2 inches in diameter. This keyboard called Matrix Vita has a small screen in the upper right corner where you can play any GIF or image you want. The parietal eye, or third eye, is a physiological feature common in fish, amphibians, and reptiles. You may not have noticed it because it is almost impossible to see at first glance. It is a small pale spot in the center of the animal's head, but scientists do not know its exact function. It is believed to function as a light detector that helps regulate their sleep cycle. However, this is only speculation. In Spain, there is a peculiar banana museum. Visitors can learn about the history of its cultivation and exploitation in the area, and even its nutritional properties. In addition to this, there is an exhibition of work tools more than a century old. Admission to this place is free, so you can go visit it. Meet the pygmy right whale. It is the smallest of the baleen whales. Its body is compact, its head relatively small, and its blowholes are located in a slight dorsal depression. It lives in temperate waters with temperatures ranging between 41 degrees Fahrenheit and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. The statue of the famous horror character Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th is submerged at the bottom of Crystal Lake in Wisconsin. Although it was a prank by some divers, the parks department decided to keep it because it functions as an artificial reef. It has also attracted many tourists and serves as a reference point for divers. Watch how the dust comes off a racket at hundreds of frames per second. The video was made by Legendary Shots. Look them up to see more slow-motion videos. This sweatshirt created by Unihabitat is perfect for letting your cat sleep on your lap while you work, play video games, or do anything else. Gelato, an Italian delicacy, is known for its smooth and creamy texture that differs from regular ice cream. Interestingly, gelato contains less fat and air than ice cream, which intensifies its flavor. It is also served at a slightly higher temperature than ice cream, allowing its flavor to be detected more quickly on the palate. It is a must-try when visiting Italy. Casio was founded in 1946 by Tadao Casio in Tokyo, Japan. It began as a company that manufactured calculators. Its first successful product was a pocket calculator, launched in 1957, which revolutionized access to mathematics in daily life. In 1974, the company made a major leap by launching its famous digital watch, the Casio-tron, which offered functions such as an alarm and a stopwatch. This innovation led Casio to become a leader in the watch and electronics industry, diversifying into products ranging from musical instruments to digital cameras known for their quality and technology. Angel Falls in Venezuela is considered the tallest waterfall in the world, with a drop of 3,213 feet. This height is more than 10 times greater than that of the famous Niagara Falls in North America. Surrounding this area lives the indigenous Pamon community. Emperor penguins can dive to depths of more than 1,640 feet. They are excellent divers and use their wings to propel themselves underwater. They can remain submerged for more than 20 minutes in a single dive. Native to Namibia and Angola, the Welwitschia tree is a unique botanical marvel. Although it is called a tree, its appearance is more like that of a desert plant. What is amazing is that its leaves are the same throughout its entire life and often live for more than 1,000 years. Its appearance is fascinating because it has only 2 leaves that continuously split into smaller strips, giving it a messy and rugged look. This man performed the highest vertical jump in the world. He managed to jump onto a platform 5 feet and 7 inches high using only his legs. He is the American athlete Chris Spell, who has trained for years and continues improving his technique to reach even more impressive heights. According to him, this is what he is most passionate about in the world. Volvo was founded in 1927 in Gothenburg, Sweden by Assar Gabrielsen and Gustav Larsson. The name Volvo comes from Latin and means I roll. Since its beginnings, it has focused on automotive safety, pioneering several innovations, such as the use of the 3-point seatbelt, which was patented in 1959 by Niels Bohlin, an engineer at the company. This innovation has saved millions of lives and has become a standard in the automotive industry. Today, Volvo is known not only for its commitment to safety, but also for its focus on sustainability and electric vehicles. Some farmers in New Zealand are already beginning to use drones to herd their sheep. Technology in the agricultural field is not new at all, since it is used in various areas. But farmers say that using drones allows them to be more efficient when herding their sheep, saving them time. In addition, these drones come equipped with speakers that can emit sounds such as dog barks, which helps even more. Honey will never spoil. Apparently, jars of honey have been found in ancient Egyptian tombs that were still completely edible. This is how the northern lights are created. It is mainly the work of the sun. This star constantly emits particles through the solar wind, and when they reach the atmosphere over the poles, they collide with oxygen and nitrogen molecules. After a while of this interaction, it becomes possible for us to see a polar aurora. We usually know them as northern lights, but these only occur in the Arctic. The ones that occur in Antarctica are called southern lights. However, the phenomenon itself is called a polar aurora. In the production of 101 Dalmatians, a cardboard car was used to animate the iconic Cruella de Vil car in an ingenious way. Instead of drawing the vehicle frame by frame in the usual way, a cardboard model with small moving wheels was filmed sliding over a black cloth. They even added small springs to the vehicle to simulate the shock absorbers. The coolest part is that Cruella de Vil's car still exists and is preserved by Disney Studios. The axolotl, a very curious animal, can regenerate its limbs. This species of salamander that lives in Mexico can regenerate parts of its body such as lost limbs, legs, its tail, and even parts of its brain and heart. This is the Hyundai Tiger, an autonomous and unmanned vehicle that can roll and walk depending on the terrain. It is designed to be a platform capable of moving through extreme and remote places, which means it could be useful for the exploration of Mars. It is incredible how far technology has come, and Hyundai definitely does not want to fall behind. Only 15% of all plant species we know are on land. The other 85% are aquatic varieties. This is what Hollywood movies would look like without special effects. As you can see, both directors and actors need to use their imagination for each scene, since many times they must interact with things that are not even on the set. Green screens and computer-generated images are widely used nowadays, and technology keeps advancing. Off the coast of California, kelp forests create one of the most impressive and productive underwater ecosystems in the world. These underwater gardens host an astonishing diversity of marine life, from invertebrates to large predators such as sharks, and they are essential for the ecological health of the region. This is the proboscis monkey, a species with a curious nose that is long, swollen, and fleshy. Researchers believe it plays a role in mate selection because females prefer males with larger noses since these allow them to make louder vocalizations. This animal feeds mainly on fruits and tree leaves, and both males and females have swollen stomachs, which makes these monkeys look like they have a belly. You are looking at the chirinola, a Mexican plant also known as the walking cactus due to its curious ability to move. It is native to the state of Baja California Sur, however, its population has decreased significantly. The reason it is considered a walking plant is due to its unusual growth. The chirinola grows parallel to the ground, which makes its sprouts look as if they are moving forward. The bumblebee is capable of flying despite its large size and weight. Although bumblebees are bigger and heavier than other flying insects like honeybees, they can fly thanks to the unique shape of their wings and their strong musculature. Their ability to fly is crucial for their role in plant pollination. Leonardo da Vinci created plans to build a mechanical knight, a creation similar to an animatronic robot that worked with a pulley mechanism. When those plans were discovered almost 500 years later and built according to the instructions, they found that it worked perfectly. If you ever encounter a cougar, never turn your back on it. These ambush expert felines will wait for you to turn around to attack. Walk backwards slowly, keeping your eyes on the cougar, avoiding direct eye contact since it will interpret that as a challenge. Maintain a firm posture and raise your arms to appear larger. Do not run as that triggers its chase instinct. Meet the bacterium Deinococcus radiodurans, the most radiation-resistant organism known. It withstands up to 5,000 times more radiation than humans and can survive extreme conditions. This microorganism was first discovered in cans of meat that scientists attempted to sterilize using radiation in 1956. The most incredible thing is that radiation disintegrates its DNA and it reassembles it in only 12 hours. It is nicknamed Conan the bacterium. This is the fabulous 500-meter floating bridge hidden in China. The Shui-Yuan Bridge was built over the waters of a river in the city of Enshi. This construction draws the attention of locals and visitors not only because of its unique shape, but also because of the accordion effect produced by vehicles over its waters. This is how water droplets behave when falling onto a surface of almost 392 degrees Fahrenheit. They do not evaporate immediately because a thin layer of vapor forms beneath them, making them hover about 0.03 inches above the surface. They move erratically for a while until they evaporate completely. This is known as the Leidenfrost effect, and although it looks very fascinating, it is better not to try it at home. Meet the Kailasa Temple in India. This temple, carved from a single rock in the 8th century, is located in Ellora, Maharashtra. It is notable not only for its impressive architecture and detailed sculptures, but also because it was built through a downward excavation process, removing around 200,000 tons of rock. Beavers are very clean animals. These rodents use their paws and nails to groom and comb their fur regularly. They are also known for their ability to build dams, which create habitats for other species and help maintain aquatic ecosystems. Their diet consists mainly of bark, leaves, and aquatic plants, making them natural engineers of the landscape. This vast and arid landscape is known for its desolate beauty and its rich marine biodiversity. The Paracas National Reserve in Peru is a protected area that hosts a wide variety of wildlife, including numerous bird species, as well as sea lions and dolphins that frequent its waters. It is also famous for the enigmatic Paracas candelabra, a large geoglyph whose purpose and origin remain a mystery. The aurora borealis, also known as the northern lights, is a natural phenomenon that occurs in polar regions when charged particles from the solar wind collide with Earth's atmosphere. This collision produces impressive displays of bright-colored lights in the night sky. The most expensive wine in the world sold for more than $1 million. A bottle of wine from the French estate Romanée Conti, a Pinot Noir from Burgundy, sold at auction in 2018 for more than $1 million, setting a new record as the most expensive wine in the world. Keanu Reeves was very good as an ice hockey goalie and dreamed of competing professionally for Canada, but an injury ended his hopes, so he changed his life path and became an actor. You are looking at a non-Newtonian fluid. This means that it does not have a defined and constant viscosity, as it varies depending on temperature changes and the shear force applied to it. The most striking thing about this type of fluid is that if it is handled gently, it behaves like a normal liquid. However, if it is struck with force, it will behave like a solid. This peculiar musical instrument you are seeing is an automaton. Do not be fooled by its appearance. Although it may look like a toy, it is used to create electronic music and was developed in Japan. To play it, you only need to squeeze its head gently and press the dark part with your fingers to create different sounds. The mane of a male lion is an indicator of his health and strength. Females tend to prefer males with darker and fuller manes. The ship that floats vertically. The research platform FLIP, floating instrument platform, can float both horizontally and vertically, and it is sometimes mistaken for a sinking ship. Zebras cannot sleep alone in the wild. They only feel safe sleeping when accompanied by other zebras that can alert them of predators. To rest deeply, a zebra always needs another to stay awake and watchful. That is how they ensure their survival in nature. Meet Darius, the largest Flemish giant rabbit in the world. He measures 52 inches long and weighs more than 48 pounds. Darius has held this title since 2012. Flemish giant rabbits can reach a large size very quickly. At 7 or 8 weeks of age, they can already weigh 4 pounds or more. They usually live between 10 and 12 years, and unlike other breeds, they do not run much or jump often. They prefer lying down and resting. This is what a 256 megabyte hard drive looked like in 1976. In fact, the first hard drive ever invented weighed more than a ton and had a capacity of only 5 megabytes. Sometimes, when there is high humidity and little wind, it is possible to see these inlet vortices coming out of an airplane's turbines. Coffee is one of the main sources of antioxidants in the Western diet. It is a drink consumed all over the world. The antioxidants in coffee can help protect against cellular damage and reduce the risk of chronic diseases, such as heart disease and cancer. You're looking at a new concept for making windows with sand that replaces curtains. Just watch how, when rotated, the sand shifts in such a way that it covers the entire window. And of course, if you rotate it again, the sand disappears. These are basalt columns, also known as hexagonal rocks. They have incredible shapes, which makes it look as if they were carved by people, but they were not. It turns out they form naturally. They are magmatic rock, meaning lava that solidifies. They take on this peculiar shape because, as they cool, their volume decreases and they crack, creating prisms. The side of the columns is determined by the cooling rate. The larger ones took more time to solidify. They can be seen in several countries. The floor of this barbershop in the United Kingdom was renovated using coins in the year 2017. After the owner realized he did not have enough money for a remodel, he exchanged £700 into coins. With the help of his barbershop staff, he covered the floor with coins. It took him a week to glue the 70,000 coins, and best of all, his remodel has attracted more customers. Pizza Hut was founded in 1958 by Dan Carney and Frank Carney in Wichita, Kansas. The brothers began with an investment of only $600 and opened their first pizzeria in a small building. The name Pizza Hut comes from the fact that the restaurant sign only had space for 8 letters. The chain stood out for its family-friendly atmosphere and focus on customer service. In 1972, it became the first pizzeria to offer home delivery, which helped popularize the concept of food delivery. Today, it is one of the largest pizza chains in the world, with thousands of locations in various countries. In winter, Lake Svetliar in Russia becomes a fairy tale scene, with hundreds of swans arriving to escape the Arctic cold. This lake, surrounded by local legends and often referred to as the Lake of Swans, offers a serene landscape and a unique opportunity to observe these majestic animals in a peaceful environment. Actor Christopher Lee, known for his iconic roles in films such as Dracula, The Lord of the Rings, and Star Wars, had a fascinating ancestry that included Charlemagne, one of the most influential figures in European history. The San Antonio Public Library in Texas is known as the first public library without books in the United States. Inaugurated in the year 2013, the library offers a fully digital collection including ebooks, audiobooks, and other online resources instead of traditional printed books. A passenger on a commercial flight recorded the exact moment a Japanese rocket launched into outer space. There are now bicycle wheels made with technology that NASA has been developing for vehicles that explore the surface of the Moon and Mars. They are called MET, developed by Smart Tire Company. Their patented load design takes advantage of the unique properties of shape memory metals. They have a casing made with a structure of titanium and nickel that can expand, contract, or bend at a very fast rate and still recover 100% of its shape. Because of these properties, they do not need inflation and cannot be punctured. This is a real movie, The Velocipastor. As its name suggests, the story focuses on the life of a church pastor with the power to turn into a velociraptor. Whales can slow their heart rate to 2 beats per minute. They do this to save oxygen. The maximum heart rate of these animals is up to 36 beats per minute, but when they dive deep, they can slow it down to just 2 beats per minute. By comparison, a human heart beats between 60 and 100 times per minute. Miro is a robot equipped with artificial intelligence and a motorized body that replicates the movements of up to 50 different fish. This small mechanical fish can be used to perform research tasks at depths of up to 164 feet. Many people use their phones while waiting at traffic lights. To speed up pedestrian traffic, the South Korean government installed traffic light signals on the ground so that people staring at their phones can see them more easily. Self-driving cars are getting closer to becoming an everyday reality. Companies like Tesla, Google, and Uber have been developing vehicles that use sensors, cameras, and advanced software to drive without human intervention. These cars have the potential to reduce traffic accidents, improve transportation efficiency, and change the way people move around. However, they still face regulatory and technological challenges. Chris Hemsworth, famous for his leading role as Thor in the Marvel movies, received last-minute information about a post-credit scene in which he would have to kiss Jane Foster, played by Natalie Portman. However, they had to find a stand-in to replace Natalie since she would not be present on the day of filming. Chris had the final say in choosing the replacement. Models and many actresses auditioned, but in the end, the actor made a brilliant choice. He suggested his own wife, actress Elsa Pataky. Interestingly, Elsa has a build very similar to Natalie Portman. After going through makeup, Chris ended up kissing his own wife at the end of the movie. Do you want to have a conversation with an Italian but still do not master the language? Do not worry, you can rely less on vocabulary and try to communicate with your hands. They will probably understand you. Italian is known for its use of gestures, but make sure you learn when and how to use each one. Not all gestures are innocent in Italy, and you do not want to have uncomfortable moments. Ethiopia is always 7 years behind. When we were starting the year 2020, Ethiopia was in the 4th month of 2012. This is because the Ethiopian calendar calculates the Annunciation of Christ differently, placing it 7 years behind the Gregorian calendar.
If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it and share it with your friends. Subscribe so you don't miss more interesting content. Leave your comments and click on any of these videos. See you next time.